Good morning, Jamuna. And today I'm going to dive a little bit into A Course in Miracles because that's what Yeshua guided me to do today, I felt. And so I have this deck called Insights from A Course in Miracles. Actually, do it this way, that way. And you can get it on Amazon or www.miraclecenter.org, all lowercase. And so this is the message, and I'm going to expound on that further in the course. Who entrusts himself to God has also placed the world within the hands to which he has himself appealed for comfort and security. And I just want to emphasize that hands, it's a capital H. So, and that's a workbook 194.8-4. I still don't understand how they number these, but anyway, it's in the course. If you do an advanced search, just put "who entrusts himself to God" in quotes, and you'll find it. So anyway, from what I gather from that is that if you really surrender unto God, Allah, Yahweh, if you will, Krishna, whatever, you also fully accept that he or she, they are taking care of you. So, and to be in that faith, knowing that all is abundance, all is taken care of. And so, it's like if you really surrender to God, you truly know in your essence and being that you're taken care of, that he will take care of you. And so some things more in the course. I put in faith in the ACIM Foundation for Inner Peace app, and this is interesting. This is from Text 1, 6. In attitude, then, though not in content, you resemble your Creator, who has perfect faith in his creations because he created them. And then from the same section, only God can establish this solution, and this faith is his gift. The way to correct, and this is T3.2, the way to correct distortions is to withdraw your faith in them and invest in only what is true. So in a way, that is saying to invest in only what is true is God. Only God exists. Only love is real. Oh, this is interesting. T-6 dot, I don't know what that is, .in. So sorry, guys. I don't know. You just have to trust. Get it? Your capacity for allegiance to a thought system may be misplaced, but it is still a form of faith and can be redirected. Isn't that good news? Isn't that the whole point of this course? Is we're retraining our mind. We're removing the blocks, what doesn't belong, to remember who we really are, and our eternal communion, so to speak, with God, as co-creators in many ways. Let's look up another thing. Let's look up trust. Trust. Sorry. I tried to put trust me. I guess that's not a mistake. He's saying trust me. So this is from T-2.3. The children of God are entitled to the perfect comfort that comes from perfect trust. That's a good section. That's what I feel right now. So this is, actually I'm going to be able to read it better now. 3, the altar of God. This is the FIP version, by the way. And where do we go? And this is paragraph 5. The children of God are entitled to the perfect comfort that comes from perfect trust. Until they achieve this, they waste themselves and their true creative powers on useless attempts to make themselves more comfortable by inappropriate means. So that goes back to, you have given yourself or appealed for his comfort and security. The inappropriate means is seeking but not finding, what the ego does, try to seek outside itself for everything when it's already within, or the world, inappropriate means. But the real means are already provided because everything's within you. You are the kingdom, and do not involve any effort at all on their part. It's about accepting what's already given. That's what forgiveness is. Yeah, that's what Jesus says. That true forgiveness is accepting that it's already given you. The atonement is the only gift that is worthy of being offered at the altar of God, meaning recognizing and knowing our true oneness with Him and our perfection. That's already perfect. We're already perfect. Because of the value of the altar itself, which is your true holy self. It was created perfect and is entirely worthy of receiving perfection. God and His creations are completely dependent on each other. He depends on them because He created them perfect. He gave them His peace so they could not be shaken and could not be deceived. Whenever you are afraid, you are deceived, and your mind cannot serve the Holy Spirit. That's very important. I'm going to pause right there because earlier today, because every day I start off my meditations, the rules for decision, stuff like that, to align with the Holy Spirit as best I can, and Jesus, that any fear is really a block. And it really all goes back to not exactly what's outside of you, but that you feel like you've done something wrong and that you're guilty and that God's going to punish you. Anyway, maybe more on that on another time. Let's see. He gave them peace. He gave them His peace so that they could not be shaken and could not be deceived. Whenever you are afraid, you are deceived, and your mind cannot serve the Holy Spirit. This starves you by denying your daily bread. God is lonely without His sons, and they are lonely without Him. They must learn to look upon the world as a means of healing the separation. The atonement is a guarantee that they will ultimately succeed, which is the atonement plan, accepting the atonement. I am as God created me. Yeah. Let's go to the next section. It's 4, healing as a release from fear. Our emphasis is now on healing. The miracle is the means, the atonement is the principle, and healing is the result. So let's go back through that. The miracle is the means, meaning the love. The atonement is the principle, which is who you really are, and healing is the result. So accept that you're love. Only love is real. To speak of, and this is in quotes, a miracle of healing, end quote, is to combine two orders of reality inappropriately. Healing is not a miracle. The atonement, or the finer miracle, is a remedy, and any type of healing is a result. Interesting. The kind of error to which atonement is applied is irrelevant. All healing is essentially... Sorry, I have allergies today. Forgive me for that. The kind of error to which atonement is applied is irrelevant. All healing is essentially the release from fear. Meaning, it's a release from your a release so that you can receive your daily bread, which is God. To undertake this, you cannot be fearful yourself. You do not understand healing because of your own fear. Yeah. And of course, the ego wants to have fear and tell you all the lies and temptations of who you are not, to keep that memory away out of your awareness. This is paragraph 2. A major step in the atonement plan is to undo error at all levels. Yeah, just like Jesus says in the Course, there's no hierarchy of miracles. Miracles can be applicable to all time, space, and situations, because only God's creation is real, and you are part of that creation. You are only love. Sorry. Back. Where was I? Sickness or not, quote, not right-mindedness, end quote, is a result of level confusion because it always entails the belief that what is amiss on one level can adversely affect another. That's an interesting thing to think about. You know, we have referred to miracles as the means of correcting level confusion, for all mistakes must be corrected at the level on which they occur. Only the mind is capable of error. The body can act wrongly only when it is responding to misthought. The body cannot create, and the belief that it can, a fundamental error, produces all physical symptoms. That's good. You know, every time I read this course, and I've read this book many times, I've done the lessons a few times, I've done there. It's like almost like you're reading it again. It's like each time you go through deeper levels of healing, it's like the mind opens to really receive it instead of what it thinks it knows. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I know I've heard in many other circles the same thing with other holy companions. So that's interesting. The body cannot create, and the belief that it can, a fundamental error, produces all physical symptoms. So that's something to think about, even for myself. Physical illness represents a belief in magic. The whole distortion that made magic rests on the belief that there is a creative ability in matter which the mind cannot control. That's a good thing to hear and to absorb. This is deep. The whole distortion that made magic rests on the belief that there is a creative ability in matter which the mind cannot control. Allow that to sit. Just hearing that and feeling that and allowing that, half of the shit goes away. Okay. This error can take two forms. It can be believed that the mind can miscreate in the body, or that the body can miscreate in the mind. When it is understood that the mind, the only level of creation, cannot create beyond itself, neither type of confusion need occur. I'm hearing go on. This is 3. Only the mind can create because spirit has already been created, and the body is a learning device for the mind. Learning devices are not lessons in themselves. Their purpose is merely to facilitate learning. The worst a faulty use of a learning device can do is fail to facilitate learning. It has no power in itself to introduce actual learning errors. The body, if properly understood, shares the invulnerability of the atonement to two-edged application. This is not because the body is a miracle, but because it is not inherently open to misinterpretation. The body is merely part of your experience in the physical world. Its abilities can be and frequently are over-evaluated. However, this is almost impossible to deny. It is almost impossible to deny its existence in the world. In this world, not the world, this world. Those who do so are engaging in a particularly unworthy form of denial. The term unworthy here implies only that it is not necessary to protect the mind by denying the unmindful. If one denies this unfortunate aspect of the power of the mind's power, one is also denying the power itself. 4. All material means that you accept as remedies for bodily ills are restatements of magic principles. This is the first step in believing that the body makes its own illness. It is a second misstep to attempt to heal it through non-creative agents. It does not follow, however, that the use of such agents for corrective purposes is evil. Sometimes the illness has a sufficiently strong hold over the mind to render a person temporarily inaccessible to the atonement. In this case, it may be wise to utilize a compromise approach to mind and body, in which something from the outside is temporarily given healing belief. This is because the last thing that can help the non-right mind or the sick is an increase in fear. They are already in a fear-weakened state. If they are prematurely exposed to a miracle, they may be precipitated into panic. This is likely to occur when upside-down perception has induced a belief that miracles are frightening. 5. The value of the atonement does not lie in the manner in which it is expressed. In fact, if it is used truly, it will inevitably be expressed in whatever way is most helpful to the receiver. Yeah, that is true. This means that a miracle, to attain its full efficiency, must be expressed in a language that the recipient can understand without fear. This does not necessarily mean that this is the highest level of communication of which he is capable. It does mean, however, that it is the highest level of communication of which he is capable now. The whole aim of the miracle is to raise the level of communication, not to lower it by increasing fear. So, something that pops into my mind is, when Jesus says in the Course, ask me which miracles to perform. And really, essentially, for what I gather in the couple decades I've been off and on practicing this Course, that it's like you're in a relationship with the Holy Spirit. You're in a relationship with Yeshua. And to be open to and willing to listen and receive the guidance. I think I know that I've fallen for this trap and still sometimes do, that, we're doing this on our own, that I have to do this on my own. And that's like the false responsibility. I know that Jamuna in the dream, kind of for a long time was like very independent. My ego is very independent. And I kind of found this safety net into being and projecting this independent, strong woman, so to speak, or something. But I realized in many ways I was blocking God, that actually kept me away from many miracles, and yada, yada, yada. Well, now I'm at a different place, a lot deeper of healing, but and it was really good to look at all these things of Holy Spirit and Yeshua, but I just wanted to, that was what came up. And I know that, there's something else I wanted to share about miracles. Ask me which miracles to perform. And then, I remember hearing from another brother in one of his, maybe his video or a blog, that, you also need to recognize that not every brother or sister is ready to receive the miracle. And that's their choice. Doesn't mean the love is lost, or that there is no love. It's just that they're temporarily not willing. We all been in situations in our lives where it's like you can't change other people. It can only be the change. And hold the space is a popular term in New Age concepts and spiritual communities. But it's kind of true. But I feel like many use it as an ego cop-out to be like, oh, I'm in presence, I'm a witness. But are you really asking Holy Spirit, what should I say, what should I think, what should I do? And I guarantee most of you aren't. So, but it's a good place to start, is holding that space and asking, is a miracle appropriate here? Because Jesus says, ask, because I know when we're going along this course, we could feel like, oh, we're having many light episodes, many revelations, experiences, and then we start thinking that we can do, we're hot shots. But it's actually, I feel guided to share, it's like better to really go deeper into that communion with Jesus, Holy Spirit, God, because you can hear God too, and ask and be in that flow, which takes a lot of work, but it takes practice. All this takes practice. So, like, here's something that I'll share that he just pointed me to. Yeah, is to same area, I think. No, this is 5, the function of the miracle worker. Perfect timing. This is paragraph 4. The healer who relies on his own readiness is endangering his understanding. You are perfectly safe as long as you are completely unconcerned about your readiness, but maintain a consistent trust in mind. Further, if your miracle working inclinations are not functioning properly, it is always, I don't know what happened to the light. There we go. If your miracle working inclinations are not functioning properly, it is always because fear has intruded on your right-mindedness and has turned it upside down. See, there's the fear again. to let go of the fear. All forms of not right mindedness are the result of refusal to accept the atonement for yourself. Bam. If you accept it, you are in a position to recognize that those who need healing are simply those who have not realized that right mindedness is healing. That's where he wants me to end. He says that's a good place to rest. And let's join in that message. And so the message obviously here is faith and trust, and asking which miracles to do, joining with Him, Holy Spirit, and accepting the atonement for yourself. All right, that's all for now, and thank you for joining me. And I love you, and joined in the perfection that we share. Aloha.